Hello, hello. Yes, and here I am again live. Can you believe it? October 1st already. Where has the time gone? I'm still waiting for like August. I can't believe how fast it's gone. Yes, hello everyone. It is so wonderful to see you all today. Oh, I'm glad viewers are getting in. You know, I always try to get in a little early, and today is one of those days. But yes, I'm glad everybody is here. Oh, let's see.
I'm still waiting for like.
Yes. Okay. Just wanted to double check that I am live. That is wonderful. So, hello, everyone. It's great to see you all. My name is Michael Smith, the National Education Manager of Janome Canada. And yes, I'm back here live from my palatial estate in Collingwood, Ontario, Canada. And my sister Deb is here. It's wonderful. I'm about 2 hours north of Toronto. And I'm here live in the Janome Canada Facebook group, Janome Canada's YouTube channel, Janome America, Janome Sewing Machines Facebook page, and Janome America's YouTube channel. So many different platforms to review. And what are we going to talk about today? Well, you know, there's always so much we can do with our machines, and especially when people say, oh, I don't always need a new machine. Oh, hello, Marty. People say, I don't always need a new machine, but I want to do more with what I have. So this is where all of our fabulous specialty presser feet come in play. So let's flip around here. Oh, lovely. And my sister Cindy is here. Hello, hello. It's wonderful. A whole family affair. Let's see, flip around here. And yeah, so once again, I am on my fabulous Janome Skyline S7 AE Anniversary Edition. And at least here in Canada, they come with this wonderful frosted acrylic extension table. I'm not sure about Janome America, if they bundle theirs in or not, or other Janomes around the world, but at least here in Canada, yes, the extension table is included in the Skyline S7AE. So what are we going to talk about today? The fabulous ribbon sequin foot. Now you'll see here in the blister pack, it says for 9mm machines, but this foot is available for 5 and 7mm as well. So you double check with your Janome dealer, or of course you go on to janome.com, janome.ca, and go to the accessories guide. There's also the accessories guide on the Janome global site. So depending on where you are in the world, you can always access the Janome global site and download and even print out the instruction manuals, yes, but also the accessory catalog. Oh, lovely. And Deb is here from Australia. Fantastic. I would love to get there one day. So this ribbon sequins foot, now as usual, full instructions on the back of the blister pack, and even sometimes the blister packs open. Now they open from, I'll set that down. They open from left to right, given Janome is Japanese. So left to right, look at all that. Full, clear diagrams. They show you the 4 ways to use these feet, all the little tips and tricks to use this foot. And here it is, the RS foot, because you know all Janome presser feet are lettered. So here is the RS foot, is the ribbon sequence foot. Now, the first thing everyone wants to do is try to turn this screw. Do not turn that screw. It really doesn't turn in this case. But you'll see there is a guide. There's 4 different guides. You'll see there's a little tick mark here for center needle position. Here is one guide that comes like up and over this screw. So there's one guide. Here is another guide. That's guide number 2. Now this is guide number 3. It's up at the very top. Do you see like right there where my stiletto is? So this is guide number 2. Guide number 3 is here. And then guide number 3 is 4. The distance here, number 4 on the bottom, is bigger. There's another space here on number 3. So, and the blister pack gives you all the instructions. There we go. So we can use ribbons and sequins, again, for guide number 1, as they explain, for up to 4mm. Now, this is guide number 1. And again, 4mm, I'm more of a feet and inches kind of guy. So I always have to use my, phone to calculate what's millimeters in inches. So it's about a Oh, it's less than a quarter, but bigger than an eighth. It's like somewhere in between. And then, of course, we've got guide number 2 is the one that comes up and over the screw, and it is 5 to 6 millimeters. So again, oops, the ribbon comes up and over and it goes into this guide here. So all of that is in the blister pack, and the largest one down here, it's between 8 to 10 millimeters, and then this guide number 3 up here is up to 7 millimeters. So lots of information. We just click this in, oops, very simply and easily. So lots of information on the blister pack. Now, of course, you can go to Janome Canada YouTube, and I did a series called A to Z with Janome during the early days of the pandemic. And it was Instagram Live, so they're tall and skinny when viewed on YouTube, but you can still see that. Let's see. I bought Fashion and Finishing Kit, so not individual instructions. Oh, they should be in there, though. They'll be written on. You probably won't have the blister pack in there, but you'll have a written card of instructions. Now, you can also, though, where you can find this card specifically, go to our Janome Life blog. You type in your browser, Janome Life, and there is a blog post that shows all of this information on our blog post. So lots of information on our respective YouTube channels, and again, Janome Life blog. So here we go. So we're basically going to sew down. Oh yes, do you have ribbons? Or in this case, I just made my own out of fabric, and I use some decorative. These are the satin stitches in my machine. Is that cool? Sort of checkerboard. Stitched down to this fabric. There are some sequins. There's another trim, and I write down here, this is like a 1/4 of an inch trim, and I just used a zigzag stitch. I used, again, another heirloom stitch here to stitch down this ribbon. And then here's a smaller ribbon, and again, you can use some decorative stitches. It doesn't always have to be a zigzag stitch. But we're basically just going to take our ribbon or our trim. In this case, I just cut fabric, but I backed it with interfacing, so I'm not going to get any raw edges. And I'm going to taper off the edge so it's a little easier to feed in, and you'll see it just slides into that bottom guide, which is for 8 millimeters to 10 millimeters, which is approximately about 3/8 of an inch wide. And there, that's all I'm going to do. Look how easy this is. And this way, all of our trims and sequins can be applied very easily. Oh, there. It's always a setup. Where am I going to? Where am I going to place this? And again, oh, I could sew with a straight stitch, but instead, oh no. We could do any of our zigzag stitches or decorative stitches here. Let's go into the decorative category, that little curly Q, and I can go with these heirloom stitches I love. Again, so many times people say, when am I going to use all these stitches? Well, we can use them here for our, let's do this one, stitch number 2. We can use this for some wonderful decorative effects. Now, I could be sewing this on a garment. I could sew this on a tote bag, some home decor items, you name it, wherever you want to use it. Now, again, I'm going to be sewing on an angle here because I have a camera in front of me. So I'm going to try to get this all lined up and beautiful, but it's really easy where we let the presser foot do the job. The presser foot in the machine are doing the job. I don't have to do anything fancy. I'm letting the presser foot feed my ribbon as I am stitching this down to my fabric. And again, this could be on a pillow, a garment, a tote bag, maybe a table runner. This could even be an embellishment on your quilts. Like, there's so many uses. So let's just stop this here. There's never enough time. This is where I can truly get lost in all my sewing. And then I'm just going to pull that out, and there we go. So isn't that beautiful? Isn't that simple? And look at my beautiful stitching all down the center of this trim. So what kind of foot is this? This is the ribbons sequins foot. It comes in a blister pack, and it is available for 5, 7, and 9 millimeters. So this foot is for 9 millimeters. That is for your CM17. And it allows me to stitch on. There is the widest 8 to 10 millimeter wide ribbon. So isn't that cool? Now we can also, with again, maybe you've got ribbon like this, especially for the upcoming holidays. So that was in this demo that I just did, was guide number 4. That's the biggest one down at the bottom. This is guide number 3, and again, you see how it just goes up above where guide number 4 was. So we could use this to stitch down very easily, or again, this is for guide number 3, which is just under this screw. And again, I taper my little ribbon off there so it can feed a little easier. And then this is where you need your stiletto or your seam ripper, and you're going to tuck that ribbon. Make sure to cut your ribbons a little longer to stick out the edge of your fabric, and then you can always trim them off later. So do you see how this goes under this screw? And again, we're not going to turn this screw. We're just, it's this threaded rod here. So this guide number 3 is, or guide number 2 is under that threaded rod. So again, I could just use maybe a straight stitch on this guy since he is skinny. And with my 9 millimeter machine here, I could always say, oh, if that needle isn't going exactly down the center of my trim, I could always offset my needle, move my needle position, or we could use a twin needle. Wouldn't that be cool, since we're using our zigzag needle plate? So a twin needle would be very cool to stitch down these wide trims all in one step. So there we go. How perfect is that? Right down the center of my trim. Now in this case, again, I just cut fabric myself. There's a little raw edge, but I cut fabric myself and then I back it with interfacing to try to prevent those raw edges that I could trim off. But look at that stitching. Isn't that perfect? Right down the center of that trim. So that is guide number 2. And then guide number 1 is the one that it goes over that little threaded rod. And then again, we tuck it under the metal portion of the foot. Ooh, and I can try to do that. Again, it's a little hard when I get a little hard when I get a camera in front of me. And this is why too, I like backing these, I like backing these ribbons with some fusible interfacing, because then it just makes it a little stiffer, a little easier to handle, a little easier to sew on. And then there we go. And then again, oh, what shall I do? Well, I've already done a straight stitch, so maybe I'll just go in and, oh, we'll do a zigzag stitch. So when we select a zigzag, many times people ask me, what does M mean and what does R mean? So M means middle needle position, R means right needle position. So I'll do M for middle needle position. Now in this case, my default is 3.0, but oh, I can make this up to 7 millimeters wide. So this is where we can really start doing some embellishment. Maybe we're going to use some multicolor thread or some metallic thread. So the thread becomes part of the embellishment, not only the trim, but the thread. So I can lengthen my stitch as well. It doesn't have to be really tight and short, or I can tighten it up even more and make it almost like a satin stitch. So you can really experiment and really have a lot of fun with your ribbon sequence foot. And again, available for 5, 7, and 9 millimeter machines. Oops, I have a little thread that is catching right there. There we go. So much fun to do. And again, I'm sewing at an angle, so my stitching is a little crooked. I was trying to keep these all parallel with the side of the foot. But yes, isn't that cool? And look how simple and easy that is. It goes on so well. There we go. So there is my wide 7mm, and you see it's pretty much the width of that trim, the width of that ribbon. So again, this could be metallic thread. It could be some multicolor thread. It would really be cool. Even some red thread would really show that off. So look at that stitching. Very beautiful. And this looks like a thread right there, but it's like, no, I was going to try to, there is a little thread. I was going to try to get that thread out of the way, but that's the print from my Janome anniversary fabric. So isn't that cute? So other things we can do with this. Well, sure, we can just stitch on. And again, you'll see this row of sequins. So when we stitch on our row of sequins, again, there is my zigzag stitch at my default at 3.0, but this is where I can really make it longer, or my stitch width at 2.5, or my stitch length here at 2.5, and I can really lengthen this. This I think I did at a 4.0. So when we put our sequins down, rows and rows and rows of sequins, they're very fun to do. But when we put our sequins down, as a little tip, we want to go, imagine if this is our pet, our cat, our dog, and we want to go with the sequins down. So imagine, you know, you're petting your cat from head to tail. We want the sequins to go down where they're laying on top of each other. We don't want to put them in this way, because this way it's going to catch and the sequin is going to flip back on itself. So make sure that the sequins are going down. And then it helps when you're starting, just remove a sequin or two, or however many you need to. You'll end up with these all over your house. But if you remove a few of these sequins, you know, off, so then you end up with this, the tail here at the end. So then you can twist this, get it a little wet if you need to. And then this, we're going to insert, again, with those sequins down, we're going to insert this under in the guide here at the very bottom. And then again, we use our seam ripper or our stiletto, something like that, to push it through. And I just want to get this under the foot. Oh, I don't want it to go up here. I just want to get that under the foot so I can catch that under the foot. Again, believe me, this works out so much easier when you don't have the pressure of live. But again, we're basically just going to push that under. There we go. There we go. And then again, we leave that long. So then now we have our sequins. Oh, except that I flipped them over. Can I flip them over? There we go. Okay. Yes. And you won't have a camera in front of you, so it won't be as fiddly. But it works out really, really good. So when I'm going to start this, and again, I can use that wide zigzag. And in this case, I'm going to lengthen that zigzag. I was just at a 3.0. Oh, I'll lengthen this to a 5.0. And when I stitch this on, it works so well. Like, we don't have to worry about those sequins getting in the way and ripping, and it works out so easily. And just fold that over. You see how simple that was. There we go. Now, the cool thing is, if I were to use my, I could either use like black thread, monofilament thread, or the same color thread as my sequined. You would barely even see it. And now sometimes you can go in and be very careful, but you can like sometimes tuck these threads under the sequined itself, that you can move them around. And sometimes, where can I find it? Sometimes you can tuck them right in and like pull the sequin there. Like I pulled that sequin up and over the thread. So you can't always do that, but sometimes you can either pull the sequin up, or again, try to tuck that thread underneath, but you do not want to cut the thread. There, I was able to pull that sequin up and over. So then that hides the thread a little better. But again, if my thread was monofilament thread or the same color as my sequins, you really would not see it. But how simple and easy is that? We don't have to hand sew these trims anymore. Imagine when we used to sew these strings of, I have a whole dress that I did in college 30 years, more than 30 years ago, that I did all by hand. I attached these rows all by hand because I did not have the ribbons and sequins foot then. And this is such a fun foot because, again, I showed this trim earlier. And you have all these, again, all these beautiful ribbons that they're left over from gift bags or, again, from presents at the holidays. How about we layer them together? Oh, yes, look how perfect that is. In this case, I moved my needle position over. It wasn't quite centered, but I easily moved it over. Look at how perfect that is. So I have two strands that I just used very simply, very easily. In fact, I could even start from this end. You feed one trim this way, and then this trim I'm going to feed directly on top of it, because remember, this is guide number 4 is at the bottom here, and then this is guide number 3. This green trim is guide number 3, and it's literally right on top of guide number 4. It's slightly smaller. So this just lines up perfectly. So I could use this. Look at that. It's just, oh, it's perfect. I could use a zigzag. I could use a decorative stitch. In this case, I'm going to use my regular straight stitch, and I'm just going to move my needle position over, and this should work out beautifully. Now this too, I could be putting this on. Oh, in this case, I think I moved it over a little too much. And again, you just experiment. Like, this is the fun thing. You just experiment what works out best. Now I could be, again, stitching this onto another layer of fabric underneath as well. So it's whatever kind of look you want to do. But again, as a present, you know, for a gift, then again, I could layer this on, beautiful straight stitch. I could layer this on and then tie, again, if this were all done, then I could tie this, you know, into a bow on a present. Like, isn't that beautiful? You just embellished your ribbon by adding these two. These were two separate ribbons. And now I just use this ribbon sequin, the guides of my ribbon sequin foot, to sew these on together. This one I did as well, that it is this little bit of red ribbon on top of, you see the black on the outer edges. I did this red trim on top of the black and used one of my heirloom stitches. So it looks really quite intricate. But it was so simple to do. It's just 2 pieces of fabric and one of the decorative stitches in our machine. Isn't that cool? Beautiful on the back side. Now, wouldn't that be a cool little bracelet, even, or a ribbon in your hair? Or again, imagine you're tying bows on the Christmas tree, or, you know, even to make like a little ribbon that way. It's so cool. Like, we can just do so much. Speaking of ribbon, yes, we can take ribbon that we get, you know, from gifts and everything, and then again, it just fits so perfectly in that. And then let's sew this down. So simple. So again, how can we decorate for the upcoming holidays? It's never too early. Now in this case, I'm just using a straight stitch right down the center of this trim. But as I mentioned, we could use a twin, whoops, we could use a, oh, that's a really long piece. We could use a twin needle, so I could be stitching on either side of this ribbon instead of right down the middle. But why not? And then maybe if I want to create some dimension, I can just kind of pinch this together. So instead it's not flat. Do you see it's kind of crinkly? So this could create a whole different effect. Imagine this on like a stocking, or this could be, again, a tote bag, a pillow, a skirt. But just see, isn't that fun? Like where you pinch it up and it just adds some dimension. Now I have some fusible interfacing on the back side to give it a little more body, a little more dimension. Maybe cut it smaller so it's not visible. But again, it's so many things you can do with your ribbon sequins foot. So very simple to do. And I wanted to show you that, again, resources. Where, oh, my computer has fallen asleep. Where do I get more information? So we can go on to Janome. Oops, sorry about this. The camera work. Does it work for the very old 27-year-old Janome machines? It depends. Is it 5, 7, or 9 millimeter? It doesn't matter the age of your machine. You just either consult your Janome dealer or the accessory guide. And again, this bar across there is going to snap on to your foot holder. So it is available for snap-on, like the snap-on presser foot. So this won't work for the HD9, for example, but it will work for almost every other sewing machine out there. So you need to make sure, is it 5, 7, or 9 millimeter? Snap-on, it works so good. So yes, janome.ca in this case, or janome.com, and we go to the accessories tab. And what am I looking for? We type in ribbons. We can type in ribbon sequin foot, and then up we go. It'll just take a minute as it's thinking. It's still thinking. There we go. And then I scroll down here to, can I scroll down? Where is my mouse? There we go. Scroll down to the ribbon sequin foot. There it is. And now here is when we click compatibility. And this is where I can't really zoom in on my phone. It goes weird. But you see compatibility. Then it'll show you which, look at all of these presser feet, or all of these machines it is compatible with. So there was all the 5 and 7 millimeter. Here's all the 9 millimeter. And again, it's a snap-on foot, so it will work with many machines. So that is the Janome accessory guide on janome.ca or janome.com. And then again, this is Janome Life Blog. So you type in the search box to the right here, you type in ribbon and sequin foot, and here is this blog post. And as I mentioned earlier, do you see there's the cardboard blister pack information. So if you happen to have lost this, or again, if it didn't come included for whatever reason, here is a copy of that blister pack information. So isn't that fabulous? So that's the Janome Life blog. And then also, as I mentioned, Janome Canada YouTube. I'm very proud to say we have 11,000 subscribers now. And I started this YouTube channel when I first got promoted 5 years ago at the start of the pandemic hadn't quite started, but it was January of 2020 is when I started this YouTube channel. So this is now 11,000 subscribers. So this is our Janome Canada YouTube. And again, we can use that search box. And if I type in ribbon sequin foot, and then up comes a couple of different entries. There we go. Now, our fabulous Celine in Montreal has done a Facebook Live a few years ago on this foot. Now, I did the RS foot. This is the A to Z with Janome series that I did for our Instagram. So again, it's tall and skinny when viewed on YouTube, but still you can see exactly what I'm doing. So there I am demoing. Oh, there I'm about to stitch on some sequins. So yes, that you can see these videos on Janome Canada YouTube. Now, where else can we find information? Well, our fabulous presser foot workbook. I absolutely love this. This is a big binder that we get from our Janome dealers. And the presser foot workbook has a lot of info on, these are some of the regular presser feet that come in many machines, like the button sewing foot, the rolled hem foot, the blind hem foot, the even feed foot. This is the automatic buttonhole foot, the regular A or zigzag foot. This is the M or the overcast foot. E, the zipper foot. So this binder explains with little tips and tricks, little exercises, how to get comfortable using all of these presser feet. But then we can get all of these beautiful addendums separately from the binder. So first we purchase the binder, and then we can get the specialty presser feet addendum. So this, now there's many blogs on Janome Life all about this, and look at all of these presser feet. The ribbons and sequins foot, it's page 46. So yes, we can get little tips and tricks on all of these presser feet. If I can flip to it quickly, all of these presser feet that we can get little tips and tricks all about it. Piping foot, yes, as I've demoed everything, there we go. Ribbons and sequins foot, attaching 1/8 of an inch ribbon. There we go, seeing all the guides. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Look, page after page after page. Isn't that cool? Look at all the different stitches we can use. It doesn't have to be just a zigzag. So again, this is the presser foot workbook. And this, look at more. There's even more. There's so much about this foot. And even so many other things I didn't even get to, because there is so much that we can do with this foot. So this is the specialty presser foot addendum for the presser foot workbook. So you can get this from any Janome dealer. So it's a great resource. So as always, oh my gosh, didn't that time go by so fast? I always plan on doing so much and then always run out of time because there is just so much to do. But that at least I hope piques your interest for the ribbon sequence foot that you can get from any Janome dealer. And again, will fit for 5, 7, and 9 millimeter machines, so everyone can share in the fun. So thank you everyone so much for joining me today, and have a fabulous day. Bye.